Hello. Right, we're going to go over these overall results. Let's scroll ourselves up to the top and see what we've got. Right, so it was the B exam for the 16th, 23rd and the 30th of April 2016. Oh, sorry, I must introduce you, Winston Churchill. You know, I've been thinking about getting a rat, and it takes me so long to decide to get a new pet. Probably generations have gone through by the time I've made up my mind. But look, in the meantime, Rebecca and Catherine's grandmother knitted this for me. It's really like its tail. And all sorts of things with its tail. Great, isn't it? I love it. As you love. So now I've got company here in my cupboard. So the numbers seem to work out remarkably smoothly, which looked a little bit unnatural. We had 90 children altogether, 40 boys, 50 girls, 88 prompt arrivals, and only one that was more than 5 minutes late. 2 that didn't attend. No distraught children. This is good. I mean, there's most children, well, when I say most, a goodly number will have had a little cry in the 24 hours beforehand, and that's perfectly normal. It's absolutely fine. We did have somebody that suddenly felt very sick, but they were fine beforehand, fine afterwards, and they genuinely felt sick. I think nerves, they didn't feel nervous per se. These things happen. Children without pencils and rubbers. Actually, I think there was one. Children without hankies. There was only 3, but we did distribute a number. They do need hankies in case they get snot attack. When you're leaning forward, it all comes out. Children who had not written their name properly at the top. 12. There was about 3 who didn't write it at all. 5 that just wrote it in the wrong place. So they wrote it on the back of the paper or just somewhere. And the rest were made up with children that wrote sort of improper names. So their pet name, they left out their surname, they misspelt their surname. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And that's quite a lot, isn't it? That's a lot of children that are doing this. And honestly, I tell them at the beginning of the morning. I tell them at the beginning and the end. We had a repeat offender this time. They'd done it in the first mock exam. They did it in the next mock exam. I mean, this is a child I'm expecting to go on to pass, but can I tell you the story? I'm going to tell you the story. I broke. I shouldn't have done, but I couldn't cope with it anymore. He was at the end going... And normally you just say to everyone, everyone make sure you check, which I shouldn't even do that much, but you know, there's only so much you can cope with. And so I just sort of rubbed his shoulder and said, check. And he goes, what's the point? It's near the end of the exam. I mean, when are you going to check? Have I told you all of this? Are you going to check at the beginning? Are you going to check in the middle? Of course you check at the end. Anyway, so then, eventually the end of the exam does come round. I thought, well, maybe I'd thrown him off, and I felt a bit bad about that. So they were gathering in all the papers, and I say, right, make sure everybody's written your name on the top and that you've in the right place where it says name on the top, near where it says question 1. He didn't do anything. So I repeated it again. In the meanwhile, everybody's tittering because all this had already gone on. Because you can't say to them specifically, so you have to pretend it's to everybody. And I was like, this close. So in the end, I had to say, can you verify, darling, that you said this? I've said this 3 times. He goes, yeah. Take it in. Only didn't have a bloody name on it. What more can you do? What more can you do? But do practice. You know, on the math sheets where it says name, this is what I have to say, it's not my idea. Write your name where it says name every day. Check that it's legible. You're not asking to sign it. I want you to write it. First name, second name, properly spelled. Now, in all fairness, on the day, your name will be printed on the thing. I've had 2 Gemma Greens, 2 James Kennedys, 2 Amelia Grace Salmons. I've had cousins that have never known each other that meet on the exam because strange surnames. You must check your name. Check your name is your name and your exam number is your number, because you could end up swapping results. Those without a snack, yes, have a snack or a drink. Comfort food is always nice. Toilet visits during the exam, just 3. That was very good for 90 children. That was really, really good. try and avoid it. Have a wee at the breaks at the beginning of the breaks, okay? The moment the time goes, go and have your pee then come back, eat your snack. Disruptive children, none. We had a number of children who I know have a huge capacity to tit about, and none of them did. I shouldn't have said that, should I? You know what I mean. No, they all chatted, they all intermingled, they had their snacks, they were utterly charming. I have to say, this is a beautiful year group. If such things exist, I don't know, but I absolutely fall in love with a lot of them. External new candidates. These are children that don't normally come to term classes, but are usually doing the scholars course, and then they come in, or they're at other tutors, or maybe they just want to get an idea of where they're at before they start. And that's nice. It's lovely to meet them. Children who are deaf to repeated instructions. Probably more than that. We've got 23. Now I promised I was going to tell you. Badly rubbed out questions were 192. 192. The number of total empty questions, 589. 589. Would you believe that? Right, the normal path, normal stuff. Yes, here we come to, if you had a full report, there'll be little videos that say, this is how you do this question. It won't be the exact question, but it will be, the maths will be the same, but the numbers will be different. And it may say, instead of kittens in a basket, it'll be slugs in a bucket, but the same maths. And if you had a basic report, the videos are still there. They're all free. Just use them. Just click onto the crest and find your way there. It's free tutoring, and it's a way in which you can look like you're doing work without having to put too much effort in. And it will save your parents a fortune, so we like that. Right, here's our overall results. Here are 90 children. Now, a number of these lower ones, they had naught in later papers for not writing their name, for chatting. Don't chat. When the examiner says silence, that doesn't mean say, consider finishing talking in a few minutes' time. Stop immediately. If your mouth is moving and sound's coming out, you're talking, and you'll get naught. And the reason we have to nail this now is for the 11 plus, but also come GCSEs, if they consider that you're cheating, and this doesn't go to court of law, they just say, you're disqualified, chum. And that's it. Not only is that paper disallowed, that whole subject will be disallowed, and will every other paper that you are sitting with that exam board. It's as serious as that. So you could end up losing a whole year, and then you've somehow got to sort of justify that on your CV. Was it, you were too thick? Did you spend time in jail? What was going on then? So just when they say shut up, really do. Other ones where children had it disallowed is when the timer goes, you've got time maybe to put in a line for one more question. Just like that. But when they say pencils down, they mean it. Pencils down. You haven't got time to put in 30 guesses. Okay? Pencils down. So learn to measure, to put in the guesses at the very last bit. Don't overrun. This is about time management. Well, none of them are doing spectacularly well, are they? Look, here we've got our 50% line. We want the actual exam, we want most children up here, and most of these will get up there. Sorry about these flashing all the things. I should have worked out another way. Come the fourth exam, most of the results we would hope would be up here, because you want to have some comfort zone. And nobody does their absolute best as a sheer fluke on the day of the exam. Most people underperform. So you need a comfort zone. Right, down we go. So that was the overall results. Let's have a look at the maths. Maths isn't doing badly. We've got, here's our no names or just talking or stuff. Third mock seemed to have been pretty good. I read the Riot Act a bit, so they've taken it on. Not that this lot weren't told. Yeah, there's a fair variation, isn't there? There are some that are doing very well. Do not get complacent. Maths is like running a marathon. You have to keep fit. If you don't keep fit, it all goes wrong. And that's running round the track. So don't think, maths is in the bag, I'll concentrate on the other things. It's very often easier to get the extra 10 marks in the subject where you're good at than aim at the one where you're bad at. So aim for your absolute best in the maths. If you're somebody that's really struggling with this, just aim to be better. And that's usually daily math sheet and visualising the questions. Visualise them. So we've got, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Oh, hello, Mrs. Jones. How are you doing? And work out what their worry is, because that's usually what the problem is, and then fix it for them. Be nice to them. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Oh, you can shut up. See what I mean? Just make it very visual. That's usually where it's going wrong with the maths. It's either core skills, fix that with the daily math sheet, or you're just not applying common sense. These are children usually bucket loads of common sense. They're just not applying it to the maths. Right, let's scroll our way down to the English. Now, the English, you can see the average is pretty ropey, isn't it? Few are doing really well. We've got all these no names and stuff. But you wouldn't believe that by the checking. Very often people rattle through the English and sit there. So do check and get those extra marks. It's usually refer back to the passage. When they're the vocabulary words, what does this mean? As used in the passage, go back to the passage and read the whole sentence. The vocabulary is usually quite down. The grammar ones, know your homonym from your homophone, that kind of thing. Those are marks you have to learn beforehand. You can't do it by natural genius on the day, if it turns up. Now down to the verbal reasoning. This is a much more varied result. These children, you can see they're hitting the high time at this. These ones, the bottom ones, I keep wanting to point to the screen. The low ones, they'll get there. They're normally just slow rather than incapable. And again, your reports will break it down. You either need to make lists, stick it all over the house. You need to work on your vocabulary, that's a common one. Or again, it's core skills maths. Work on your daily math sheet, because a lot of the maths, as it turns up in the verbal reasoning, you've got to be razor sharp. You've very often got 6-7 little questions to do in 30 seconds. You have to get the answers like that, just see it. So that's usually, as I say, lists, vocabulary and maths. So but generally speaking, very pleasing. Now let's have a look at the non-verbal. Well, these have really come on. Last time they were sort of trundling down here as a result. So we're heading nicely there. They're not easy. You have to be observant with these. Now, don't assume that all of these ones are boys, because they're not. Well, actually, I think they are, but 1 or 2 may have had naught on these. So it won't distinguish who are boys and girls on the other ones. Yep, and that's just about usually being quite clear, common sense sort of way of doing things. It's either movement, addition, rotation, symmetry or counting, and just work your way through those things and you'll get your answer. And I think that's about it really. If I've got any other points that I want to point out, guesses after the time, blanks rubbing out, name, talking, debrief. Oh yes, there was something. Those that come in to do their second mock exam are much more measured. The first mock exam, they were really very nervous. The second one, they know what they're doing, they sit down, they're quiet, they know to be quiet. Much, much more sorted. And that's nice to see. They're calmer. I've had children. Last year I had a little boy who was absolutely distraught in the mocks, went on to pass and pass well. They're very often those that are distraught, and they do well in the grammar schools as well. They just care. That's okay. I've been to that film, the one with the singing lady. That's the problem. I've reached that age where names go pff. It'll come to me after I've pressed the off sign. It's brilliant. At £10.50 per seat, not so sure whether it's worth that much. Wait till the video, but it's absolutely amazingly brilliant. I loved it. My dear husband was the young man behind the thing, charged the thing, said, "Concessions?" That offended my husband. Well, we both look old enough to have concessions. Let's be up there. It's been a while since we've been, people refer to our children as our grandchildren. I don't mind. I'm big enough to cope with this. Clearly my husband, it was more of a struggle. But what do you do? Because it would be dishonest to take the concession. But if you point out that, no, you don't want it, you risk sort of offending the person behind who's only doing a kindness, aren't they? So there you have it. The etiquettes are growing older. It never gets easier. Oh yeah, I don't think you can hear it. There's this wretched blackbird that's driving me nuts. It's I've got this sort of, it's called involuntary pattern recognition, and it keeps going on going, I told you, what you doing? It follows me around everywhere I go. Yeah, can you hear it? It goes, I'll kill it, I'll bloody kill it. And then, what's wrong with Cherry Owen? Who's Cherry Owen? And why should I care what's wrong with them? Just keeps doing it. So if in class you come and the blackbird's going, you can watch my blood pressure go up. In the meantime, have a lovely week. And it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Winston Churchill. Bye-bye.